Hey you've probably heard your little cousin or some kid on the street mention Looksmaxxing, you know, saying something like they mog you or your maxilla is super recessed and you're just disgusting to look at, right? So Looksmaxxing is a trend that focuses on maximizing your physical beauty with a laundry list of ways to do it. And you know, it sounds pretty good, healthy movement at first. You know, they do like skincare routines, hair care routines, working on improving your posture, taking some like vitamins, shit like that. And then you start to get to some more out there ones like mewing. You know, it's that thing where you like put your tongue to the roof of your mouth, you know, this thing. That thing, that's mewing. It kind of works, I think. And then you start to get to the really weird ones like bone smashing, which is where people are taking hammers to their face to cause microfractures on their bones so it grows back like stronger and more defined. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. I think you need to do that for actually years to get even minor results, but okay. There are people out there that are admitting that they're taking meth just to look skinnier. It's not even for the meth. Now, if you look around on these different sites, there are tons of Looksmaxing tips and tricks, you know, guides on how to get better, how to look prettier. I mean, there's even a fucking rating system. Hey man, I don't think we can be friends anymore. Your maxilla is just super recessed and your canthal tilt is just kind of disgusting. You think I'm exaggerating with that, oh ha, funny little clip? That actually happens a lot.
You too good for me?
Yeah.
What do you think about that chat?
I would say I mog you by at least like 2 PSL, easily.
PSL, what's that mean?
Like I mog you by like maybe 2 points.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
Looks?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
So this rating system that he's using in that clip is known as the PSL scale, which is an incredibly detailed rating system, basically to tell you if you're ugly or not. Or, sorry, subhuman. Holy shit, man. This PSL scale gives you an objective rating based on your facial harmony, your balance, your symmetry, shit like that, right? So if your eyes are at different levels, if they land a little differently, if your face is a little lopsided, you just rank lower, you rank in the lower regions. And if you look like Henry Cavill, you get a perfect score because these dudes fucking love Henry Cavill. Now, while I was reading through this, it got me more and more curious as to what my score would be. I wanted to know if I was this disgusting subhuman blobfish man, or if I was pretty alright. So I started looking through some of these guides and I actually found an app that scans your face and tells you exactly what your PSL rating is. So I downloaded the app so I could get a read on myself. And don't worry, I checked it out. They said that they're not gonna sell my data. They don't save the photos or anything. So I don't wanna see anybody worried in the comments about my security. I mean, it's the Looksmaxing community. They've got my back, you know? $15? So unfortunately the app didn't work out. I'm not paying money to know what my score is on the beauty scale, but I'm sure there's some incredibly special little guy out there who's really obsessed with Looksmaxing and can tell me exactly what my score is. So I'll give you this little shot and you can tell me what my score is in the comments. Is that good? Now, this whole PSL scale has a surprisingly detailed rating system. It's got ranks like subhuman, LTN, MTN, HTN, which are all kind of the same thing we'll get to in a second. CL, which I could not find what that means, but I'm sure it means something good. And of course, the highest tier that you could possibly get, Chad. Could you tell this was bred on 4chan? Because oh my god, was it bred on 4chan. If the Chad tier didn't make that clear enough, LTN, MTN, and HTN, I want to see if you can guess what it stands for. I actually am not going to let you do that because I want to keep going. It stands for low, medium, and high tier normie. I cannot imagine calling someone a normie in any sense of the word in real life. I feel like you have to kill yourself. I want to talk to someone who goes around and calls people normies or randos or foids in real life, and just so I can see how their brain works and how they got to the point in their life where they're unironically walking up to somebody and calling them a normie and thinking that they're the superior person in that conversation, you know? Now, while I was looking for more information on this PSL scale, I found a forum that gives some examples of each rank, and there are little variations between each post, but it seems to be generally the same, so we can see what these ranks actually mean. So the subhuman PSL rank generally refers to people with disabilities and deformities, so That's cool. The people in 3 PSL range are noticeably below average and widely considered unattractive and unappealing, which I find really funny because they say this and then they give the example of Michael Cera, and I'm not saying he's like the most conventionally attractive dude, but I'm sorry, man, the ladies love Michael Cera. I don't know who you're looking at. Now, the scale keeps going higher and higher. You know, Shia LaBeouf is dead average. Timothy Chalamet is just on the cusp of attractive. He's not quite there, but he's not quite ugly. Apparently, Johnny Depp absolutely mogs you. And then you start to get into the so good it's scary territory with PSL 7.5 and up, or the Chad tier. Now, the description on this forum page even says that there are almost no real examples of people who fall into this category, and then they show these 2 guys. I'm sorry, ladies, but this is the pinnacle of man, and if you don't find this attractive, you're just a stupid foid who doesn't know what they're talking about. I kind of just wanted to learn more about how these guys go about their day and like what they're actually doing for these Looksmaxing techniques, because they always mention that they're doing their Looksmaxing journey, but they never really say what it is that they're doing. So I started looking for some guides to see what it is. So I ended up on this life maxing guide mega thread thing on looksmax.org. That's a real website. It seems to be pretty popular, and I have to say, with a lot of these, they do start from like a healthy, normal place. You know, it's like saying get better about your diet, start working out more often, all this kind of shit, right? And then they just devolve into the weirdest like verbiage of why they're doing this ever, like the memory guide. So on the surface, it looks like it's gonna tell you how to train your memory to be stronger, you know, try to remember all those facts, right? Which, I mean, technically it does. It does help you do that in a sense, but the wording of it is just so odd. I can guarantee you that a better memory equals more money. What does that have to do with memory? I mean, I'm sure in a very broad sense, you can argue that memory helps you with your job performance. But I mean, are you getting a raise for every decimal of pi you can recite to your boss? Like, what does that mean? Actually, it's an online forum. He's probably talking about like crypto and how many shit coins he can remember. The better your memory is, the more Bored Apes you can buy and shit coins you can dump. Come on, guys, take my course. Please take my course. But that's not the only thing that the guide helps you with, because it also has the facial Looksmaxing guide, which is more of the bread and butter of the Looksmax community. Actually, it's not the bread and butter. You're not allowed to eat either of those if you're a true Looksmaxer, because if you eat bread, you're a filthy, dirty, disgusting pig who doesn't deserve to live. So I'd say it's more like the fish and rice. But basically, they want to teach you how to look like this guy, because in their eyes, if you don't look like this guy, you are scum. You don't deserve the air that you're breathing, right? But other than just the vanity of it all, why would you want to do this? Like, what is their justification for why you want to look like this guy? Well, the benefits of Looksmaxing are actually quite simple, and they spell it out for us on this guide. You know, firstly, you'll attract more beautiful women, and in parentheses it says, the goal is to attract feminine women. But that's not the only factor. What does that mean? The goal is to attract women, but like, you can do other stuff too, man. Thanks, guy. I don't know, I'm glad you clarified that. But then the second biggest benefit is your children will be sexier. Huh? I'm sorry? Also, not how genetics work. If you get plastic surgery, your kid's not gonna come out with a better nose. And if you start working out more often, your kid's not gonna come out with abs. Also, even though they're just not correct, what a weird fucking way to phrase that, man. Quite possibly the creepiest way you could have phrased that sentence. Yeah. If you start mewing, your kids are gonna be sexy as fuck. Like, what? You'll have more confidence, you know, overall confidence, walking around the streets, relaxed, rolled back posture, you know, you're standing tall more often, right? This one I kind of have to give to them. You'd probably feel better and more confident if you're happier with your looks. But at the same time, if you become obsessed with this Looksmaxing stuff, it's just gonna make you more insecure because you're gonna start noticing all the minute little details in your face. And it's just gonna end up backfiring and making yourself less confident, you know? But to counter that, you will have more opportunities and advantages in the world, privileges that others just don't get. Which is only like partially true if you stop thinking about it after the first 5 seconds. I think what Looksmaxers don't realize is that yes, looks can definitely get you in the door, but your personality is way more important in the long run. Like, you could be the hottest dude to ever exist. He's standing right there. That's the hottest guy ever, objectively. But if you fucking suck to talk to, you're gone. You know what I mean? Your looks aren't gonna save you from having a bad personality. That's what money's for. Oh, you will also gain more trust. I don't really know what to say about that one, but you will earn more money. And then in parentheses, they say science-based articles have shown that being a good-looking man can earn you up to 20 to 25% more than your peers. And I really just want to know what these science-based articles are and like what they're factoring in when they do these studies. Because like, I'm not saying that this is necessarily wrong. I really want to know what this study is, because I'm not gonna lie, science-based articles sounds like a really sly way of saying you saw it on a Reddit thread once. And they just keep going. They have so many reasons that you would want to do this. Like, you will have more friends. You'll easily have more friends than the typical I like how they just say it again, but with the Reddit accent. Like, you will have more friends. Oh, you will easily have more friends than your typical Reddit loser. Finally, you will be more liked in the friend group. And again, why does no one on these forums ever talk about your personality? I don't know, I couldn't care less if my friends were attractive. I don't think I've ever thought about the attractiveness of my friends. Because why would I care about that? Why would I care about the attractiveness of my friends unless I was like into them or I want them, you know? You guys could just be gay. It's okay. No one's gonna be mad. You're good. Now, they throw around the word attractive so much that I really just wanted to know where they got these ratings, like where these originated from. Because, I mean, beauty is largely subjective. How can you put a objective rating system on it? So apparently PSL comes from a combination of a few different things, but originated on a controversial 2010s forum known as Pua Hate, or Pickup Artist Hate. Now, this forum was originally created as a place to warn men against using like pickup artist guru guides and just being like pickup artists. It was just generally a place to hate on pickup artists, right? But very quickly, it became an incredibly weird and misogynistic forum of people talking about, you know, all women are dogs and their opinions don't matter and they're the disgusting scum of the earth and that they only care about looks, and so we should start focusing on nothing but our looks so we can start getting more women. Now, obviously this is a very basic rundown of Pua Hate. It could have its own video. That site is insane, but this is one of the biggest things that spawned from it. Now, the site was actually used for quite a while by these pre-Looksmaxxers. I don't really know what you'd call them, but they used it as a place to discuss their own beauty and how to get women, and was just a pretty strong incel breeding ground that ultimately led to some pretty tragic shit. The most unfortunate of all of them being a man named Elliot Rogers. He was already pretty infamous on the site at the time. He was a pretty active user. In 2014, he went on a shooting spree and killed 6 people because he, quote, didn't understand why women would pick inferior men over him. And the weirdest part about all of this is that these Looksmaxxer guys see him as a hero and a saint, and you know, he got out of the Matrix. I'm sorry, that is the most loser mindset I've ever heard in my life. How are you viewing this guy as anything other than the biggest loser you've ever seen? Like, seriously, if you genuinely look up to that guy, please just never click on one of my videos again, because I do not like you. Now, he's not the point of this video, so I don't want to dwell on it too long, but I mentioned him to just showcase how deep and disturbing this Looksmaxxing hole goes, and just how negatively it can affect people's mental states. Now, after this, Pua Hate got shut down, and the users on it migrated over to a new site known as Slut Hate. That's the actual name. Excuse my flicking language. Now, I couldn't really find any specifics on why people left Slut Hate, other than it was just kind of shitty to use, but they eventually moved on to lookism.net, which is the final piece of the puzzle forming the PSL rating system. You know, P, Pua Hate, S, Slut Hate, L, Lookism. That's what that stands for. I know, it's a lot less creative than I thought it would be. But as of around December 2020, lookism.net went inactive and people migrated again to looksmax.org, where they are currently mogging out. You know, that's where I found a lot of these guides. Now, it's very obvious when looking at this scale that it has a very Eurocentric beauty standard, which I don't think is inherently a bad thing, until you start to see how they word things by saying anyone that doesn't fit with this standard is subhuman and inferior, just kind of showing that if you don't look like the fucking Pepsi Man, you are subhuman scum and you shouldn't exist in these people's eyes, you know? It's just an incredibly insecure and shallow way of viewing the world, and it's no surprise that it spawned off of an incel hate forum, you know? It's just such a sad way of viewing things. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these beauty standards do come from pretty, Aryan origins, if you're catching my drift. just like with pretty much anything on 4chan, they just really like Nazis. I don't understand what it is about the edgy side of the internet. They just think they're the coolest people ever. You'll see what I mean as we keep going. But that's kind of where that Eurocentric vibe comes from, which is just, it just makes it feel so much grosser, you know? Now, Looksmaxxing has had its surges here and there. You know, the mewing memes really put it on the map for people. That's how it got a lot of newcomers. But over the past 2 years, it really started to dwindle off and die off until this guy came along. Clavicular. Oh boy. See, this guy is labeled as the king of Looksmaxxing, or like the face of Looksmaxxing right now because he's like good at it. I think they think he's hot, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know why they like this guy so much. But basically, this guy has gone really viral recently due to the extensive lengths he has gone to modify himself into the most attractive version of himself that he can. Which at face value sounds great, right? He's probably eating healthier. He's maybe going on like a good diet. He's maybe working out more often, taking some vitamin supplements, whatever, right? Oh, wait, He's hitting himself with hammers. He's injecting his face with peptides. Okay. And he's doing meth, supposedly.
I do steroids.
You also,
yeah.
wait, is it true you do meth? Somebody told me you do meth too.
I do meth, yes. So I do meth to, you know, basically suppress my appetite and try to get leaner.
I mean, hey, I would too if I could look like Nick Fuentes' slightly more rigid brother. I mean, look at this guy. He's beautiful. If you couldn't tell by that last little clip, he's also a pretty huge grifter in the space. This might come as a surprise to you. I know, huge shocker. He is a kick streamer, and that's kind of where he blew up from his viral clips over there, right? Some of these clips include making fun of people based on their PSL rating in public to their face, or talking about how he would vote for Gavin Newsom over JD Vance solely because Gavin Newsom outmogs him and is just hotter. Really odd reason to vote for someone, but alright, whatever. Or maybe you're familiar with the clip of him injecting his 17-year-old girlfriend in the face with peptides to make her look hotter. Isn't that wonderful? And look, to be completely honest, it doesn't matter what was in that needle. The fact that he could go onto a live stream with zero medical training, as admitted by himself, and inject a minor in the face with a needle is just so insanely dangerous to be showing, especially considering that his audience is almost entirely made up of younger, very impressionable teenagers that are probably really insecure about their looks and trying to get tips and tricks on how to look hotter, right? Because yeah, sure, Clavicular and his needle might be fine. It might just be peptides, it's probably fine, whatever. But the people that are watching this that are desperate to look better in any way that they can and listening to this guy, looking up to this guy for tricks, they're probably not going to be as safe about it. They're probably not going to be fine, and it's going to cause a lot of harm to people. It's insane that this is even allowed to exist on that platform. Now, if you listen to these Looksmaxxer guys, I actually think it's really funny. They will always talk about needing to be hotter, you know, look perfect, look better, and how it comes from like a female gaze perspective, right? They want to impress all the foids. But then when you ask them more about it, they say that like all women are worthless and their opinions don't matter and they're all just dogs, right? So which one is it? You can't say that you don't value their opinion and also your entire life's goal is to look as hot as possible to women. You can't have both of those, so which one is it? Or they'll come at it from a different angle where they'll say that it's to mog other men, to like show other Looksmaxxers how much better they are and show off how attractive they are to the other Looksmaxxers. Then they'll vehemently deny that it is in any way kind of gay or like to try to attract the other Looksmaxxers or the other men that they find attractive.
I would say that in terms of, you know, harmony percentage, it's like a very objective thing. This is not really based on like an opinion of mine. Would be Matt Balmer scores the highest. I think
Isn't
he's around.
this a little gay?
I could see how it'd appear that way at first glance, but it's all based on mathematics.
You guys can be gay. Like, this feels like a really weird 4chan facade to try to hide the fact that you want some man action, you know? Like, it's cool. You could be gay. Now, this Clavicular guy is also just insanely cringe. He's so easy to piss off. If you just walk up to him and say that he looks bad, he will go on this, like, baby-raged rant about how he's so much more attractive, you know, his maxilla is so much more refined, and he's got predator eyes. And I wouldn't brag about that. If you walked up to me and said that you had predator eyes, I would be shielding my kid away from you because you sound like a fucking pedophile. Don't brag about that. He also thinks saying the N-word in public is just the funniest thing ever, like he's 2015 iDubbbz or some shit.
That's not a good rating?
Guy and he keeps saying the N-word.
You know what I'm saying?
It's pretty obvious that he's trying to rage bait the people around him. He's trying to get like the reaction. They're like, what did you say? And it just doesn't work in any capacity. It's so cringe. Like he himself looks embarrassed doing it. He'll say it and then he'll be like, whoa, who said that? Whoa, who said that? Like he's some 12-year-old kid that just said a swear word near his mom, you know? Also, what even is the joke? Haha, look at me. I'm a white guy who said the N-word kind of loud. Okay. And like, it's not funny. It never has been funny. It's just cringe as fuck. And it shows that you have no social skills or social awareness in any capacity if you think that doing that is funny. Now, he also went onto Nick Fuentes' podcast, like I mentioned earlier, and he kind of just agreed with him on a lot of topics, which I think makes the whole Gavin Newsom part so much funnier. Because you can just tell that he has no opinions for himself and he's just saying anything he can to keep the clicks coming, you know? Now, the weirdest part of all of this is that this has actually spawned a wave of these like clavicular clones that are even easier to rage bait. I mean, I saw this clip this morning before recording this video that I'm gonna throw in because I think it's really funny.
You're ugly! What the hell? You're ugly!
You're fucking low tier, Becky. Look at your fucking mid-face. You look fucking ugly as fuck. You look fucking absolutely disgusting. I'm serious.
I love how he thinks he won. I mean, he posted this clip and he was like, absolute Chad mogs these femoids. And he just goes on this like pre-prepared toddler rage about how she's an ugly Becky.
You're fucking low tier, Becky. You're fucking low tier, Becky.
I'm sorry, dude. The second you use any sort of 4chan verbiage in real life to try to get to someone, you lost the fucking argument, man. There is no way you're going into an argument unironically calling someone an ugly Becky and thinking that you won the argument. Like, what are you doing, man? Go home. Go hug your mom or something. This is not the place for you. I'll be honest, I never even considered trying all of this. I thought it was just really lame and bad for younger people to be consuming because it can lead to a lot of body dysmorphia and other insecurities, and it definitely does do those things. But then I saw this guy Clavicular hit someone with his car, and all I could really think was, wow, his maxilla is perfect. Oh my, he's beautiful. So I'm gonna be Looksmaxing for a week to see if I can go from Chud to Chad. So before we started, I decided to take some before and after pictures just so we can see what it is, but then I got onto my week of Looksmaxing. So day one started pretty normal. I woke up, took off my skincare mask, my nose tape, got up, and did my facial exercises. These exercises will give you a chiseled jawline, so of course, it's a necessary step. I moved on to the supplements. I take my peptides for my skin and hair, my adrenal cortex to manage my cortisol, and my Tums because my tummy hurts. After that, I did my morning ice rub and used my gua sha. This is the key to getting a polished, marble-like look, so of course I had to add it to my day. Every dietitian will know one of the most important superfoods in your life is a banana, so I started my day with one. After this, I used my posture corrector to build my back strength and help me stand above the normies that I unfortunately exist around. I decided to work for a little bit using my standing desk because sitting is like dying, and of course, had another banana. It started to get around lunchtime and I needed to follow my very specific caloric intake requirements, so I had another banana. After this, I used my red light therapy tool to stimulate the cells in my face and reduce inflammation, and I had another banana. It's right before dinner time now, so I decided to go on a light jog in VR to maximize my efficiency, as leaving the house often leads to wasted time that could have been used to look more beautiful. Once I finished with my run, as an after-run re-energizer, I had another banana. Dinner, of course, was a beautiful stuffed salmon with asparagus, both incredible superfoods your body deserves. And then after dinner, I winded down for the day and prepared for bed as sleep is the biggest key to a healthy body, and had another banana. I put my mask and nose tape back on and went to sleep for the night. This is my day. This is my week. I do this every day no matter what because this is the only way to feel better about yourself. Okay guys, that was my week. I hope that was really informative because now we're gonna look at a before and an after. Okay, so these are the before. I showed them earlier, but just so you know, these are the before. And here's the after. Am I beautiful now? At the end of the day, looks do matter. I'm not going to sit here and say that they don't, because unfortunately they do affect a lot of your life. But personality will always matter more. Anyone that's telling you that personality doesn't matter and you just need to take the black pill probably has a pretty shitty personality and they just don't realize it. Either way, bone smashing and min-maxing your entire day to look better according to some 4chan beauty standard is not going to get you friends or a girl or a foid, whatever you want to call it. At least it's not going to get you any that you want. All it will do is lead to more insecurity and self-hatred as you focus on every single minute little detail of your face and your body until you're just a brick wall of a person that nobody wants to interact with. Also, Patrick Bateman is a parody of obsessively masculine men, and if you idolize him, you kind of completely miss the point of American Psycho, and you're kind of an idiot. Anyways, thank you to the Patreon. You guys are lovely. Everything over there is completely free. It's just a way to support me. So if you want to support me, you can you can head on over there. But with that being said, my name is Prisk. That's Reggie, and if you need me, I'm gonna be sourcing more meth so I can get some predator eyes.